Hello, dear friends. I want to start our chat today with a simple question. Have you ever felt that, as the years go by, your body just doesn't seem to respond quite the same way? Maybe you notice your energy dip sooner in the day, or perhaps after a meal, you feel sluggish or uncomfortable. Sometimes little aches and pains become more persistent, and you wonder if it's just part of aging or something more serious. And if you're like many of us, you might also worry about your health, especially about things like strokes or sudden heart problems that can happen so unexpectedly. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about how our daily choices, what we eat, how active we are, and even how we manage stress, can make a real difference in how we feel and stay healthy as we age. It's easy to forget that small habits add up over time, and that's why I want to talk to you today about something that might surprise you. 4 common foods that could be secretly increasing your risk of stroke and even sudden death. Now, I don't want you to get scared or think you have to give up everything you love right away. That's not my goal at all. Instead, I want you to become aware, because once you know which foods might be harming you, you can make smarter choices, little changes that can protect your health and give you more vitality. After all, we all want to enjoy our golden years feeling strong, active, and full of life. So let's start by talking about the first 2 foods. These are so common, so everyday, that many of us might be eating them without a second thought. But they can have a big impact on our health, especially on our hearts and brains. And I want to share some insights that might help you decide if it's time to cut back a little. Let's begin with the very first food. Processed meats. Yes, those sliced, cured, or cooked meats that many of us keep in our pantries or fridge. You might think of bacon in the morning, sausages for breakfast, ham in your sandwich, or hot dogs during a picnic. They're convenient, tasty, and often a part of family traditions. But what we often don't realize is how these foods could be quietly increasing our risk of serious health problems. Processed meats are typically packed with salt, preservatives, and fats that are not good for our bodies, especially as we age. The high salt content alone is enough to cause concern. When you consume a lot of salt, your body holds onto water, and your blood pressure can rise. And high blood pressure, as many of you know, is one of the leading risk factors for stroke and heart attack. When your blood pressure stays elevated over time, it damages your arteries, making them less flexible and more prone to blockages. But salt isn't the only issue. Many processed meats contain chemicals called nitrates and nitrites. These are used to preserve the meat and give it that bright, appealing color. However, research suggests that these chemicals can turn into substances in your body that cause inflammation and damage the lining of your arteries. Over time, that inflammation can lead to the formation of plaque, those fatty deposits that clog your arteries and increase your risk of stroke. Imagine your arteries as a highway. When they're healthy, traffic flows smoothly. But when they're inflamed and clogged, the flow is disrupted. A sudden blockage can cause a stroke or a heart attack, which can happen without warning. And the more processed meats you eat, the more your arteries are exposed to these harmful chemicals and high salt levels. Now, I understand that many of us have fond memories of bacon on Sunday mornings or a sausage for breakfast. And I'm not here to say you have to give these up forever, but perhaps it's time to think about how often you indulge. Maybe you can switch to fresh, unprocessed meats like chicken, turkey, or fish more often. Or try plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, or tofu. Small adjustments can make a big difference over the years. The second food I want to talk about is something you might find on your snack table or at your favorite fast food restaurant. Fried foods. Yes, those crispy golden delights. Things like fried chicken, French fries, potato chips, onion rings, and other crunchy snacks. They're delicious, I know, but they're also some of the worst offenders when it comes to heart health and stroke risk. Fried foods are cooked in oils that are often high in trans fats and omega-6 fatty acids. These fats are not friendly to your cardiovascular system. They tend to increase inflammation in your arteries and lower your good cholesterol, known as HDL. When your good cholesterol drops and bad cholesterol rises, your arteries become more prone to plaque buildup. And as those plaques grow, so does your risk of blockages that can lead to a stroke or a heart attack. Let's imagine for a moment how often we might be reaching for that bag of potato chips or that fried chicken piece. Maybe it's a snack, or maybe it's part of a family dinner. It's so tempting, isn't it? The crunch, the flavor. How can we resist? But here's the truth. Fried foods are like little time bombs inside our bodies. They might not cause harm immediately, but over months, years, they wear down our health quietly. And it's not just the fats and salt. Many fried foods are cooked at high temperatures, which can produce harmful compounds called aldehydes and acrylamides. These chemicals can damage your cells and contribute to chronic inflammation, which is another key player in the development of strokes and heart disease. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not telling you to never enjoy fried foods again. Life is meant to be enjoyed after all. But it might be wise to limit how often you indulge and look for healthier cooking methods. Instead of frying, you might try baking, grilling, steaming, or sautéing with olive oil. And when you crave that crispy texture, try oven-roasted vegetables or air-fried options that use less oil. Remember, as we get older, our arteries become less flexible, and our bodies become more sensitive to these types of fats and chemicals. What might seem like a harmless treat can become a risk factor over time. Small changes, like swapping out fried foods for healthier options, can add years to your life and help you stay active and vibrant. So, to sum up today's message, processed meats and fried foods are common in many diets, but they're also two of the biggest culprits when it comes to increasing your risk of stroke and sudden death. Awareness is the first step. Recognizing these foods and making conscious choices about how often we consume them can make a significant difference. Remember, you have the power to take control of your health. It's never too late to start making smarter choices, and every small step counts. In our next conversation, we'll explore 2 more foods that might be even more surprising and how to replace them with healthier options. Until then, take care of yourselves, cherish each moment, and remember that your health is your greatest gift. You deserve to live each day with strength, joy, and vitality. Thanks for spending this time with me, and I look forward to continuing this journey together. So far, we've talked about processed meats and fried foods, 2 very common foods that many of us enjoy but may not realize how much they could be quietly harming our health. And I want to emphasize again that the goal isn't to make you feel guilty or deprived. It's about awareness and making small, manageable changes that can add up to a healthier, more vibrant life. Now, let's move on to 2 more foods that might be even more surprising, but are just as important when it comes to protecting your health as you age. These are foods that many of us consume daily, sometimes without thinking, and they could be contributing to inflammation, high blood pressure, and increased risk of stroke. The first of these is refined carbohydrates. Think about white bread, white rice, pastries, cakes, cookies, and sugary cereals. These are foods that are easy to prepare, fill us up quickly, and are often a part of our daily routines. But here's the thing. Refined carbs are like quick energy boosts that come crashing down fast, leaving us feeling tired and hungry again shortly after. More importantly, these foods can have a profound impact on our blood sugar levels and inflammation in our bodies. When you eat foods rich in refined carbs, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. To bring it back down, your pancreas releases insulin, a hormone that helps process sugar. But over time, frequent spikes in blood sugar and insulin can lead to insulin resistance, which is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. And diabetes, as many of you already know, is a major risk factor for stroke. High blood sugar levels also promote inflammation in the arteries, making them less flexible and more prone to developing dangerous plaques. Plus, high insulin levels are linked to higher blood pressure, which, as we discussed earlier, is a critical factor in stroke risk. Imagine a cycle happening inside your body. You eat a slice of white bread or a sweet pastry. Your blood sugar rises sharply, and your body responds with insulin. If this happens often, your body gets used to this pattern, and insulin resistance can develop. That means your body needs more insulin to do the same job. Over time, this imbalance damages your blood vessels and nerves, setting the stage for cardiovascular problems and strokes. Now, I want to be clear, completely cutting out all carbs isn't necessary or even healthy. Carbohydrates are an essential part of our diet, especially whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. The key is choosing unrefined, whole foods that provide fiber, vitamins, and minerals, instead of these quick-burning refined carbs. Replacing white bread with whole grain bread, choosing brown rice instead of white, and snacking on fresh fruit instead of sugary sweets can make a world of difference. These healthier options help keep your blood sugar stable and reduce inflammation, supporting your overall cardiovascular health. Now, moving on to the fourth food that's quietly increasing your risk. This one might be even more surprising. It's something many of us love and indulge in regularly: sugar-sweetened beverages. Think sodas, sweet teas, fruit drinks, and even some energy drinks. These drinks are often marketed as refreshing or healthy, but in reality, they are some of the biggest contributors to chronic health issues, especially in older adults. Sugar-sweetened beverages are loaded with added sugars, sometimes as much as 10 teaspoons of sugar in a single can. That's a huge amount of empty calories, and it's a quick way to spike your blood sugar and insulin levels. Regular consumption of these drinks has been linked to obesity, high blood pressure, and high triglycerides, all of which increase your risk of stroke. Let's imagine for a moment how often you might be reaching for a sweet drink during the day. Maybe it's to quench your thirst, or perhaps it's a habit you've developed over years. But here's the thing. These sugary drinks don't hydrate you the way water does. Instead, they flood your system with sugar, causing those rapid blood sugar spikes I mentioned earlier. Over time, high sugar intake can damage your arteries and promote inflammation. It can also lead to insulin resistance and weight gain, both of which are significant risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Plus, excess sugar can contribute to fatty liver and high triglycerides, further burdening your heart and brain. So what's the healthier choice? Water, of course. Plain water is the best way to hydrate and support your body's vital functions. If you crave flavor, try adding a slice of lemon, lime, or fresh herbs like mint. Unsweetened herbal teas or infused waters are also excellent options. Making this switch can seem small, but it's powerful. Cutting back on sugary drinks can help stabilize your blood sugar, lower blood pressure, and reduce inflammation, all important steps toward lowering your stroke risk. Now, I want to remind you, making these changes doesn't mean you have to do everything overnight. Start by swapping one meal or drink each day. Replace that soda with water, choose whole grains instead of white bread, or have fruit instead of a sugary dessert. Small steps are easier to sustain and can lead to lasting health benefits. And I also want to emphasize the importance of balance. It's perfectly okay to enjoy your favorite treats now and then. The goal isn't perfection, but moderation and awareness. When you understand how certain foods impact your body, you can make choices that serve your long-term health. Remember, at any age, you have the power to make positive changes. Your body is resilient and capable of healing and improving, especially when given the right nutrients and care. Every healthy choice you make today is a gift to yourself, a step toward a future where you feel strong, alert, and full of vitality. So to recap these next two foods, refined carbs and sugar-sweetened beverages, they're common, they're tempting, but they're also linked to increased inflammation, high blood pressure, and a higher risk of stroke. By choosing whole grains, fresh fruits, and water instead, you're giving your body the best chance to stay healthy and resilient. As we continue this journey together, I want you to remember, small, consistent changes can lead to extraordinary results. Your health is your most valuable asset, and it's never too late to start taking better care of it. Keep that in mind as we look forward to exploring the final points in our next conversation. And as always, I'll be here to support you every step of the way. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your well-being matters, and I truly believe that with a little knowledge and effort, you can live your life to the fullest at any age. Here's to your health, happiness, and a future filled with vitality. Now that we've explored 4 common foods that might be quietly increasing your risk of stroke and sudden death: processed meats, fried foods, refined carbs, and sugary drinks. I hope you're feeling more aware of how your daily choices influence your health. Remember, it's not about making drastic changes overnight, but rather about small, manageable steps that add up over time. The power to protect yourself is right in your hands, and every little decision you make can have a profound impact on your future. Let's take a moment to review what we've learned. Processed meats are loaded with preservatives and salt, which can raise your blood pressure and promote inflammation in your arteries. Fried foods, while delicious, contain unhealthy fats and chemicals that can clog your blood vessels over the years. Refined carbohydrates cause blood sugar spikes and inflammation, setting the stage for diabetes and cardiovascular issues. Sugary drinks flood your system with empty calories and sugar, pushing your body toward insulin resistance and high blood pressure. All of these foods, when consumed excessively, can contribute to the buildup of plaque in your arteries, increasing your risk of stroke and sudden cardiac events. But the good news is, you're not powerless. You can choose to replace these foods with healthier options, and those choices will support your heart and brain health. Simple swaps, like choosing whole grains instead of refined carbs, drinking water instead of soda, baking instead of frying, and eating fresh unprocessed meats, can make a huge difference. These small steps can help keep your arteries clean, your blood pressure in check, and your body functioning at its best. Now, I want to share a few more thoughts that might inspire you to take action today. First, remember that aging is a natural process, but how we age is often shaped by the choices we make. Healthy eating, staying active, managing stress, and getting regular checkups are all part of a holistic approach to aging well. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Instead, focus on 1 or 2 simple changes each week. Maybe it's adding an extra serving of vegetables to your meals or taking a short walk every day. Second, don't forget the importance of staying connected. Social engagement, conversations with loved ones, or participating in community activities can boost your mental and emotional well-being. When you feel good mentally and emotionally, it's easier to stick with healthy habits. And third, listen to your body. If you notice new symptoms like persistent fatigue, dizziness, or sudden changes in your health, don't ignore them. Seek medical advice promptly. Regular health checkups are your best defense, helping catch potential issues early before they become serious. I also want to remind you that making these changes isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about enriching your life, feeling more energetic, more confident, and more able to enjoy the things you love. Whether it's spending time with family, gardening, traveling, or simply enjoying each day with a smile, your health is the foundation for all of that. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, it's hard to change habits, or I've been doing this for decades. And that's perfectly understandable. Change can be challenging, especially when it involves deeply ingrained routines. But every journey begins with that first step. Celebrate each small victory, and don't be too hard on yourself if you stumble. What matters most is your commitment to trying again and making progress at your own pace. You've already taken an important step just by listening and caring about your health. That awareness is the first and most powerful step toward a healthier future. Remember, life is a precious gift, and the best way to honor that gift is by taking good care of yourself. As we wrap up our discussion, I want to leave you with this thought. You are never too old to start making healthier choices. Every day is a new opportunity to improve, to learn, and to grow stronger. Your body is resilient, capable of healing and adapting, especially when given the right nourishment and care. The small changes you make today can ripple outward and create a lifetime of benefits. So, my friend, I encourage you to look at your plate and your habits with fresh eyes. Think about what you can do today to support your health and happiness. Maybe it's adding a handful of nuts to your snack, switching from white to whole grain, or taking a brisk walk around the block. Whatever it is, know that each positive step counts. And before I let you go, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. Your well-being matters deeply, and I truly believe that with a little knowledge and effort, you can live a life filled with vitality, joy, and good health at any age. Take pride in every healthy choice you make because you deserve it. Your future self will thank you for it. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are so many ways to support each other, whether through family, friends, or community groups. Stay connected, stay positive, and keep moving forward. Your health is one of the most precious gifts you have, and it's never too late to nurture it. Here's to living your best life at any age. Stay strong, stay inspired, and keep shining bright. I look forward to sharing more tips and encouragement with you soon. Until then, take care, be kind to yourself, and enjoy every moment.